welcome to another episode of Thought That Get Results. I'm Everett Weber Herbert, and as per usual, we're here every Tuesday evening with something that at least we think is of community interest and or of some concern. And if you think that you have something which fits into that category, you'd like to find out how you can be a part of the program, well, why don't you drop us a line? Address it to Let's Talk Program in care of Vaughan Radio, P.O. Box 195, Charlestown in Nevis. Or give us a call. Our numbers are 1-869-469-1616 and or 1700. By the way, those will be the numbers you'll use to be a part of this evening's discussion. Again, thank you all very much for joining us. This is your voice in the community, Thought That Get Results. With regard to your participation in the show, we encourage you to call in on the numbers listed, 1-869-469-1616 and or 1700. Here's a suggestion. You have a question or a comment, perhaps you can get a pencil, piece of paper, write it down so that when you're getting on the show, you're well organized and you take as little time as possible so that we can accommodate as many of you as we can. We ask only, first of all, you respect yourselves and then respect others, because we'll not accept anything we deem not within our broadcast standards. But we encourage you to always be forceful with your point. Again, thank you all very much for joining us. This is your voice in the community, Thought That Get Results. And tonight we have an early start from the usual 8 o'clock start. We will be standing by to join the live town hall meeting by the team Unity Government. That's coming up right as soon as we get them, we will be going to them live. But tonight we will be speaking with some in the area of health, and we'll be speaking with some folks from the association where we've spoken to them before a number of years, and we'll be speaking about your kidneys. And we'll find out what they're doing, what's the status of their foundation, and how we can help on the island. And we've got with us Sherilyn Pemberton. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, Webo. Good evening to all who are listening to via radio as well as the World Wide Web. I am Sherilyn Pemberton, President of the Nevis Renal Society. It's a pleasure to be here.
We've got Dr. Glenville Leiber. Doc, good evening.
Good evening, Webo, and to the listening audience. It's good to be back at Vaughan Radio again.
And with us also is Florine Williams. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Weber and the general public who is listening. And we are here to talk about the Renal Society, of the activities that we have coming up, and all different aspects of everything.
Okay, so we don't have the amount of time that we usually have, but we're going to make use of the time that we do have tonight. And I know that your foundation has been working a number of years in the area that we suggested with the kidneys and so on and so forth. And especially for the benefit of the folks who don't know about it, why don't we do a little background on it?
Yes, Webo. The Nevis Renal Society is a non-profit organization. It started way back in 1999. So this year is actually 21 years since the society has been in existence. It is also a registered non-profit organization. It was registered in 2007. And as it stands, we have to update our registration, and I'll do that in short order. But we have been that non-profit organization with our goals, which had not changed over the years since we have started. And the goals are education and prevention of kidney disease and renal failure, and also to assist financially clients suffering from kidney disease and renal failure. And our long-term goal as to see dialysis here on Nevis. So the society has been being very active over the years. We meet every third Thursday in every month at the Red Cross, not the Red Cross, the Girl Guide building. And we have to thank Bridget Hunkins at this time, because she has really consented for us to be there without pro bono, as you may realize. And over the past 2 months, I think they have started doing some renovation there. So we have now relocated to Dr. Leibert's conference room, which is located at his office. And we are grateful for his input in allowing us to be there at this time. We are strong in number. We have about 20 to 25 members and growing. People are getting aware. We are being out there educating the general public. Florine will update us on the week of activity, and then I'll go into detail with some of the activities that we have started.
Okay.
We are strong in number. We have
Starting with the week of activities from the 11th until the 13th. We started Sunday the 8th. We had a church service where representation were placed in various churches around the circuit to deliver a message on health-related issues. Monday the 9th, we had an official opening of week by Junior Minister of Health, Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams, which she did a very good job. Tuesday, which is today, which we have in a Let's Talk at this point, on Von Radio to discuss the week of activities and prospective launching of the magazine. Hopefully, we're looking forward for that in the summer. And Wednesday, which will be tomorrow, we're going to have a health fair, educational talk in primary schools. Thursday the 12th, we have International World Kidney Day. The theme is Kidney Health for Everyone, Everywhere, from prevention to detection and equitable access to care. And Friday, of course, we're going to wrap it with bring up the curtain with a takeaway tea party at the Red Cross building. Start from 3 o'clock till 6 p.m. And we're looking forward to everyone to come and support us. Not even though you buy your ticket, we're looking forward to you guys to come and have your takeaway stuff to take back home. And we're looking forward that, we have more events coming up, which we're going to discuss and continue to support the Nevis Renal Society.
Doc?
Yes, so, well, they said Florine and Sharon have said it all about the week of activities, and this been going on annually. We've been observing World Kidney Day, which is the second Thursday in the month of March annually, and that's been observed by the international bodies, International Federation of Kidney Foundations and the International Society of Nephrology since 2006. And the Renal Society was established in 1999. So since the observance of World Kidney Day by these international bodies, the Renal Society have been observing this day annually every year with a week of activities. So we've been going for that long with this week of activities in the month of March, centered around World Kidney Day, which is the second Thursday in the month of March annually. So you could mark that on your annual calendar and look out for us that will be here again next year, God willing, to celebrate another week of activities highlighting World Kidney Day. And as Florine said, the theme for this year is kidney health for everyone, everywhere, from prevention to detection and equitable access to care.
Okay. I know we just got the week of activities of what you're doing and so on, but the kidney disease is not, when you have that, it is not as common as, let's say, diabetes and hypertension and so, right, Doc?
No, don't fool yourself, Rebel.
It is?
Diabetes and hypertension, they're the breeding ground for kidney disease.
Okay, there you go. So
if
let's
you have one or both of these conditions, then it's a triple whammy.
Okay.
Because they accelerate the damage to the kidneys. So we have to control those primary conditions. 20% of the population in Nevis have been screened and found to have diabetes, and another 30% or more have hypertension, and 40% of people have both diabetes and hypertension, combined together. So it's a big problem in our country, and we need to get ahead of the curve and control these two conditions. And they're silent for for much of their course. So that's why we need to screen, and early detection can lead to prevention of complications, and the end stage we have to end up on dialysis or getting transplantation of a kidney.
Yes, that's why, Webo, we have really launched the idea of prevention. So we go through education, and for this year, this week of activities, we have really been out there in terms of educating the public. On Sunday, instead of, we normally would go out as a group, but this time we decided to send out volunteers on that Sunday as in the various churches, and we have had an overwhelming raving reviews. We sent out Dr. Budgeon. She was in St. Thomas's Anglican Church. St. James, we have Dr. Erlene Pemberton. Charlestown, Anglican Church, we had Dr. Glenville Liebert. And here I must pause to apologize to Father Chris. We got the time mixed up. We thought it was 10 o'clock, it was service, when it was actually 9 o'clock. So, Father Chris, we apologize for our late present on Sunday. We had in the Jessup Methodist Church, we had Mrs. Alexa Pemberton. Charlestown Methodist Church, we had Miss Letia Manners. Zion Methodist Church, we had Nurse Joya Walters. Fountain Methodist Church, Chanel Nesbitt. And the Church of God in Craddock Road, we had Pamela Dear. So we are spreading the word through education and getting it out there. So, you know, because prevention, education and prevention really saves lives.
The diabetes, let's go back a little bit to the diabetes and the hypertension. I don't know whether or not a lot of people are aware that these, you know, sometimes are the causes of kidney failure.
Yes, Webo. I mean, the cumulative effect of uncontrolled diabetes and uncontrolled hypertension will damage your kidneys. And this is the act on blood vessels. Diabetes makes the blood vessels leaky, and the pressure will cause the blood to seep out of the blood vessels and damage organs. So multiple organs are affected, and when we look at the kidney, then the filtering mechanism, the glomerulus of the kidney, where the blood is filtered, becomes damaged beyond repair, and then stuff begins to leak into the urine. You see lots of glucose in the urine, lots of proteins, and these substances block the tubules so the kidney cannot filter anymore, and then you start making urine at the end stage of kidney failure. And you have to get rid of the waste some other means. That's when you need dialysis or kidney transplant.
So typically a person who has that condition do not urinate and so, and you know, by the natural means?
No, when you reach the end stage of kidney failure, the kidneys stop making urine, so all the waste builds up in the body and you have to get rid of it some other how, and that's where dialysis comes in. But if you wait until you start making urine, you know, it will be too late, so we have to jump ahead of the curve and begin to screen the kidneys to look for signs of early kidney damage, protein in the urine, blood in the urine, you know, sugar in the urine. All these are signs of early kidney damage which we need to be aware of, and try to get control by controlling the blood sugar, controlling your diet, controlling your blood pressure by medication, diet, exercise, whatever will work. You know, but you have to monitor. I tell people, you don't go through life walking with your eyes closed. You cause accidents, right? Same for driving, so you're always monitoring your environment, monitoring the world condition, so you know how to maneuver and do so safely. And the same thing with our health. If you don't monitor our internal organs, how they're functioning, when things are silent, when symptoms do appear, it will be too little too late. And we just at the point of organ failure when symptoms begin to appear. So we need to get ahead of just looking for symptoms, but begin to look for the early signs when the blood tests or whatever structural tests may show some changes in these organs before they get to the point of no return.
With this condition, do we have any specific at-risk groups?
Well, I mean, everyone is at risk.
Right, but groups that are more likely, for instance, hereditary, maybe age-wise, young, older people rather than younger people, and so on.
Well, okay, I mean, that is making it a bit too simple. I said, so certain people can have family inheritance where it happened in a father, mother, brother, sister, but you can't depend on that because our lifestyle has changed, and our lifestyle is what is killing us. We're driving these diseases. We're eating lots of refined food. Everything is mechanized now. We are sedentary people, We don't do much physical work anymore, so we're eating excess and we're exercising less. So the body is overloaded with nutrients and other calories which can have a cumulative effect and damage the organs by, having these effects of high cholesterol, high blood sugar, too much salt in our diet, too much processed food, and the cumulative effect is that they damage the organs, end organs, the kidneys, the liver, the heart, the blood vessels, the brain, in so many different ways.
You're recommending monitoring. Does that, for example, means, let's say, your annual checkup?
Annual, biannual, two, 3 times a year, as the case might be, but you have to work with your healthcare providers and establish a schedule.
What if, Doc, you were to go to your family doctor? Is it natural or normal they would order that particular test without you saying, Doc, I need a test to check on the kidneys?
Well, when you come to us, we do certain routine checks.
Mm-hmm. And that is included.
Beginning with your medical history, your past history, your family relations, your work, social situations, your liking for substances like alcohol and tobacco, marijuana, These things, our environment in which we live affect our health. So we need to know all these things when we do a consultation. And then we will order the tests. Some tests are routine, hemoglobin, urinalysis, cholesterol, blood sugar, sodium, potassium, you name it, the whole biochemical profile. And then based on these tests, we could analyze how the different organs are functioning. We do ultrasound, we do chest x-ray, we do EKGs, and then we could go deeper into the system by specialized testing, thyroid, hemoglobin A1C, microalbuminuria, and different tests. But, we will walk you through the stages based on the screening and how you answer the questions and the past history and what you've been exposed to and so on. So as we're detecting, we won't just take the whole book at you at once. Unless you have a deep pocket and you say, Doctor, do everything that is out there, then we will discuss with you the rationale and the step to go about these things,
Yes.
Yes, one of the things that the Nevis Renal Society has been doing over the years, we, from I think 2013, for the last 4 years, we had been testing individuals when we have our health screening for a test called microalbuminuria test. This test we had ordered out of Trinidad. It was a bit expensive. It's like $1,000 per 100 bucks. But what this test used to actually do is to detect very minute protein in the urine. And when we detect that, when it becomes over a certain percentage, well, we inform the Dr. Liebert, who is our medical director. These patients used to actually go through him, and then they go through their regular doctor, who is their doctor. But that's a test we had been doing over the years. But in the last 2 years, 3 years, we were not able to do that test, but we have been doing it for the past 5 years prior to the last.
When you say you mean the Renal Society?
Yeah.
And how?
What we did is we had a specialized form, and that form picked up all your data, your demographic data, your name, your age, your medical history, and then we normally have the form that mark microalbuminuria, and we send you to the lab. We had a correlation with the lab, and we send the clients to the laboratory where they do the testing, and they would have picked up whatever minute protein that would be. They had a percentage level. Maybe doctor can.
Let me
elaborate.
clarify the situation. Now, the testing of protein in the urine can be done in several ways. Now, normally you have a quick test called lipstick test. You put the urine, dip a stick in it, like a litmus paper test, and it changes a color if protein is in the urine. Now, this litmus paper test can only detect from about 30 milligrams or more. The microalbumin, it can test from as low as 5 milligrams of protein in the urine. That's why it's called microalbumin. It goes lower than the range of the current dipstick testing. And if we can get it at that early stage, then we can begin to intervene and modify people's lifestyle and diet and control the blood pressure and the sugar. So it's not a commonly used test because it's new technology, cutting edge, and as a society we try to introduce that service so that we could screen people at that level. And it's recommend you do it at least once a year, and then you could do it more often if you detect a positivity greater than 5 milligrams of protein in the urine. But the normal urine test goes up to start from about 30 milligrams of protein in the urine, quantified. And once we reach up to 200 milligrams, you're in serious trouble. Once we at 30, we start monitoring more closely. But the microalbumin goes below 30 from as low as 5 milligrams of protein in the urine. It can detect. Quantified, accurately quantified. That's the value of that test. So if we can get down to that level, then we could prevent a lot of complications by knowing that information.
How are we doing with our population with regards to that?
Well, I mean, by and large, people are getting the message. It's a slow process of assimilation, and because of how healthcare is administered, where people are paying for care out of pocket, then only those who can afford to pay often come. But when we do this public screening, then people who are tight with funds to come to the doctor, they subscribe well, and then you see them, they come back for follow-up checks, and then they fall off the curve again because people have to budget their health care against other expenses. And the talk about introducing a national health care plan where people don't have to think about spending money to get checks up is long overdue. Because, I mean, health care is a right. People need quality health care to prevent morbidity and disability and all these things. But if people have to think twice, 3 times before they go to the doctor because they have this bill to pay, that bill to pay, food expenses and so on, then the health care gets neglected, and only when they get symptoms and things are falling apart, they come to us, and then it's too little too late, and we've got to change that practice.
It's too little too late, so maybe it's time for a light moment. So you mean it's possible on that thing we're doing some talk that getting no results?
Well, we're going to talk to the Unity and the others who are vying for our support in this season, that we need to get the universal health care plan up and running.
Maybe
it's 20 years too late,
We need to put health care on the ballot this time.
Exactly. I came back home in 1996, right? And they've been talking about universal health insurance from since then,
Yeah, it's a good talking point.
yeah. So it's same thing, same results. So maybe you could help push the agenda, Rebo.
Maybe we might got to put that on our agenda and see what happens.
Exactly. So when your town hall come online, maybe you could keep us in the house and interject every so often.
Yes. Okay. I know one of your aims, your goals, is to get the dialysis unit up, right, and running. How are we with that? Where are we? We're making...
Well, we have missed the boat,
Mm-hmm.
and the boy is coming around again, right?
Maybe we could put that on the ballot as well.
You know, I mean,
Dialysis unit.
20, 30 years ago, Nevis had a dialysis unit in a private setting, right? So it has been piloted in this country, right? And we're trying to reinvent the wheel by trying to collect data after data, but not acting on it, right? If one man could have a unit in his house for 7 years, no matter what it is, it's a pilot study, right? And so the country can do it even better once we pool our resources to make it possible.
Yes.
So that's my take on the dialysis system for Nevis.
Priorities.
Eh?
Priorities. Well, with most things, that is what happens. The priorities, because sometimes I might have a private discussion, and I probably might say that had I been the decision maker, instead of doing projects A, B, and C, I would have forego those, put them on the wait column, and then perhaps do a certain project in health.
But
we end up with the same amount of monies, but it is as far as priority is concerned. Not that you didn't have the monies to do it, but the monies went to something else instead. And that's what happens a lot.
Yeah,
yes, Doc?
When you invest in health, you're investing in the productivity of your people. And so you may see the dividends immediately, but you keep people healthy and productive, then the economy will grow and get stronger. But if you neglect the health, you build concrete and steel and so on, and you destroy the health in the process, then comes the point there's nobody to inherit the concrete and steel that you put together.
Right, but part of the debate for that, you see, Doc, is this, that the decision makers normally are younger people. And a lot of times people make decisions based on their experiences, you see? And so sometimes, for instance, a person may not get involved in certain things until they had an experience that hit home. And then they begin to prioritize it. So, you know, that's one of the things that I know is a part of the debate. As I said, it comes down to priorities, the way the decision makers look at it.
Definitely, and the decision makers have a decision to make shortly again to how they want to prioritize of the development of the country. But we have to be altruistic. We have to plan for our future. And so if we don't put aside something for our future well-being by building a secure health system, then we are planning to fail, and we work hard in our youth, and when we reach 40, 50, 60, we have no health care because we didn't invest in a good health service.
Right, because that's part of some of the issues with health insurance as well. Globally, the younger age group don't normally have health insurance because, again, the experiences that they have, 10, 15 years and so on, you know, they're going, nothing happens.
You know what I mean? I've seen people who were millionaires in their 30s and 40s, and when they reach 60s, they are poor because they spend all the money on health care.
Yes.
Because they neglect the health when they were making money, and then when they start getting problems, yes, they have to flying to Miami, Puerto Rico to get health care and paying mega sums in the U.S. healthcare system to get health care. But then when that can't be sustained, then they end up being paupers and they die quite miserable. And some of these people back against Social Security when it was first introduced. Why should they pay Social Security for? And then when they reach 60, 70, they want the same Social Security money
Right.
which they didn't contribute for in their youth.
Right, so it's the thinking of persons, and that is one of the things that the challenges that we have, you know, what we have to overcome in order to get certain things done.
Well, certain things are better on a community level, and like Social Security, National Health Insurance, there's a community looking after itself. Peter paying for Paul and the fund pay for us all.
Right, Doc, but you see, again, the decision makers have to be persuaded of that. For instance, one may argue, if you were to become one of the decision makers, Nurse Pemberton and Miss Williams here, I'm sure they will perhaps swear or pledge that you will give this area priority, right? Because that's your thinking. So it comes down again, whereas on a global level, it might be well accepted or understood that the importance of health. But again, it comes down to the decision makers.
Well, okay, so we need to look at that critically.
Yeah, that's where because I'm sure that you were part of the discussions of the national healthcare. I don't know if they call it a scheme.
Health fund, health
Oh,
insurance.
Health insurance, and it seemed, at least to me, that there was some fierce urgency about it until it doesn't seem as if there's any again.
But the fact is that there have to be a tax levied on the population. And from my experience that people want health care, and once they know that the funds are being managed responsibly, they don't mind paying the tax because they could see the benefit. And so those in decision-making position have to understand that they have to be bold and brave and get the fortitude to levy the tax for the good of everyone.
So you think that's part of the issue?
Definitely.
But I don't understand, because when we put the VAT on, people didn't want to pay it, but they paid it.
Yeah, but people would always make noise when it comes to change. They are not going to just accept things like that. But in the long run, it's what would be beneficial for all. And that is the most important thing.
I mean, people entrust the running of their affairs to others. And if that trust is breached, then, you know, those who breach the trust will have to give account and maybe take the rap accordingly. And so that's part of the equation of social responsibility, social contracting, that the decision makers gave up their authority, their autonomy to others to manage their affairs. I give you my money to build a house for me, and if you don't follow the plan, then you have questions to answer when the time comes to take possession of the house. And so the social contracting needs to be part of the public discussion. How do we entrust, you know, our portfolio, our affairs to others to manage for us, and they give account accordingly?
Yes, Webo. I think we have to move on in terms of our week of activities. I just wanted to highlight for tomorrow, as Florine said, they're having we'll be having talks in the school, and I must say we have collaborated with the Ministry of Education, the Principal Education Officer, Ms. Claxton, along with Health Promotion Unit, and we have come together and decided to do an educational session in the schools, and mostly in the primary schools. And we have, moving forward for tomorrow, we have Nurse Busu, Aglina Busu. She will be in the St. James Primary School. VOJN will be manned by Nurse Gwyneth Jones. In St. Thomas's, Dr. Budgeon will be there. At the Charleston Primary School, we have Mrs. Simone Harris, Nurse Simone Harris. And we have at the Ivor Walters Primary School, we have Dr. Carol Liebert. At the EPPS, we'll have Dr. Erlene Pemberton. And at the Joycelyn Library, we'll have Dr. Tyson. In the Health Promotion Unit will cover the primary schools, which in the private primary schools and the one high school. So we are working arduously, Webo, to get the education sessions out there within the school, starting at the primary school. And we have collaborated well with the education system, as along with the Health Promotion Unit. We have been working hard to get this done, and I just want to publicly thank all of the volunteers who will be going out tomorrow, and we even have some tokens going to be shared during that period of the educational session, and this will be done at the during the morning session, during the
Devotion.
the devotional session. That is up from 8:30 to about 9 o'clock.
That's for the week of activities.
That for Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, for Wednesday. And Thursday is really just World Kidney Day, International World Kidney Day, and the theme is really, as Florin has stated earlier, and Dr. Liebert, and the Minister of Health, I think she would be making a speech on that day, the Junior Minister of Health, Ms. Hazel Brandy Williams. And then on Friday, Florin has highlighted about the Tea Party, which will be at the Red Cross.
Starting from 3 o'clock until 6 p.m.
Then we have to move on pertaining to the magazine. Yes, Webo, we have decided for this year, our 21st anniversary, to launch a magazine, and we are hoping to launch it somewhere in July. And we are working, we have a magazine committee which comprises of myself, Dr. Liebert, Michelle Liebert, Kim Singh, Patricia Diaz, and Leti Manners, and
Alexa?
Mark Weeks.
Mark Weeks.
Alexa too? No. Okay.
Yes, so we are working towards getting that magazine up and running. That magazine would chronicle events that we have been doing over the years, what we have done, how we have assisted others in financially, as well as individual stories that, people who have been affected with renal disease and renal failure will get their stories. They're going to place it in a magazine. And one of the things we have done, we have sent out a number of letters, almost maybe 50 letters, looking for sponsorship. You have businesses, individuals who can buy ads in helping us to reach that goal of, producing that magazine. And we have started to get some positive outlook on the magazine, and we're looking forward to the general public to come on board with us. The magazine, the full page we are looking at, is the cost of the full page, which is 8.5 by 11.5, and that will cost about $1,000. Not about, it's $1,000. And the half page would be $600, and the quarter page would be $400. So we are really looking forward to that support.
You have
The magazine will, it's a long-term investment in terms of financial, as well as, something that the society can really look back on and say, what they have achieved over the years. So we are really looking forward to getting it done, Webo.
How is your membership in the organization? Are you getting volunteers, and can people volunteer? How do they go about it?
Within the society, or
Yes.
for the magazine?
Well, both.
We have a membership of about 20 strong right now. We have, and these are probably, regular members or off and on members who would come. And we do have people who volunteered, because some of these persons who will be going out in the schools, they are not all members, but they all volunteered to help us, especially educational-wise, to go out there and help getting the message out there that prevention. So it's not all actual members, and this is one thing that Florin is going to pick up on in terms of getting launching an appeal to persons out there who wants to join the Renal Society. So, Florin?
Actually, I'm the PRO for the Nevis Renal Society, and I enjoy doing it, definitely. I like to interact with people. I like to listen. I like to make them laugh. And I try to reach out that the society, being a member of the society, that one would have interest in to make a donation or contribution toward the society. And honestly speaking, the feedback is very, very good, especially from the establishment like the Bank of Nevis and all the other banks, First Caribbean in general, and the other establishment. And they always comes in to be a part of our events. And while I'm here, I would like to say a big thank you to the Bank of Nevis, who does usually be our sole sponsor for the walk that we normally will have like in May. And the date would be announced sometime soon. And we would like to say thank you for the individual who normally assists or probably give a donation or contribution toward the event. And we want to say we want to thank you guys very, very much. We will appreciate it because the money goes back into the, not the money, the assistance that we give to help persons who being affected by the kidney problem. Money goes back to the society to assist persons who having that service done in that facility. So the money that we get is like goes back to the community to assist those persons. And we try our best to well, for this year, we never had a tea party before, and it was thrown out in the meeting, and we decided to have a go at it. And it's very, very, well, we're going to have it on Friday, but the tickets are all gone. And so that means that, you know, we going to be doing very well to assist persons. And who out there who would like to make a donation or contribution towards this event, it's not too late. We gladly accept that also. And we're going to have our annual, probably a cocktail or dinner coming up in November. That will be close at the end of the year. And we will be selling tickets. We're not certain of the prices yet and the location. And that will be announced at sometime soon. And we're looking forward for donation and contribution towards these events also. And while I'm here, I would like to say we're looking for members, in which we have a few really, you know, but we're looking for committed members who would attend meetings and who would give their feedback and who are going to, bring out new events and so for the society. And we looking for family members who have persons or someone being affected by this the renal failure to come on board. And for them to do that, they will have the passion for being a member, as I have the passion for it. And the reason why I'm involved in the Renal Society, because I had a nephew who was being affected by this disease, and luckily he had a transplant, and he's married now again and have 2 children. So that is really good hope. And for me to have that passion that's why I'm rally behind the Nevis Renal Society. That's why I'm appealing to the family members who have someone who's affected by this to please come on board, because only they could tell the story like how I'm telling the story with my nephew's son, and because I know what he went through, and that's why I have the passion for it. So we encourage the family members to please come on board and help us in our event that we have, so we could have an overwhelming event. That's all I'm asking for. Okay?
And they serve as a support group as well?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we have a support group, yeah.
That's the whole idea, Rebo. That's the whole idea. I mean, it is a self-help support group for the community, but those of us who see the light paving the way for others to follow and come on board, you know. But we need the help. We can't do it forever without support.
How are we numbers wise, you know, in terms of persons being affected, and how do they get help or treatment? Because obviously we don't have the unit here in Nevis, so how do they get help?
Well, there's a unit established in St. Kitts where they can get dialysis now, and so they have to commute across the waters to have that service access to them. You know, and that's one of the sad points, you know, in the history of the society, that we had a unit in Nevis 30 years ago, Anyway, we can get one again in due course, because whether we do prevention or we do transplant, we still need to have dialysis as a bridging procedure in between. Because transplant, you just can't get up and take it off the shelf and do it tomorrow. You got to be prepared. You got to have a matching donor, and there's a waiting period. And while you're waiting, if you can't get dialyzed, you will die. So you need dialysis regardless of prevention or transplantation if people are to stay alive. And dialysis has saved life. People have lived for 20, 30 years on dialysis. You know?
Do we know or have an idea of the numbers?
Well, out the cuff of my head, I can count at least 3 or 4 people right now living on Nevis who have to come to St. Kitts to have the service. And that's been a constant trend over the years. There are another 3 or 4 who are in exile, cannot come back home. And there are many who have gone to the great beyond because they gave up. Because of the frustration of going to St. Kitts or going to St. Martin or Anguilla or further afield, and lack of the finances to even contemplate getting the help, you know. And that is under 65, right?
Yes.
You're talking about people who are elderly, who because of wear and tear, they begin to fail. People who are under 65 who still have some quality of life left before them. And some in the 40s and 50s.
Yes.
Even in the 30s have come down with the condition. So it's that prevalent in the society because of diabetes, hypertension, and other factors, lupus, nephritis, kidney stones untreated, and things like that.
We have supported the clients by giving them like a week's supply, a week's treatment, and that costs up to like $2,400, $2,400, and sometimes we have to give like 5. Right now you have maybe 3 or 4, but we normally do that a year. Yeah. So most of the funds that we make just roll right back in.
And so
sometimes we don't even make enough sometimes. When we have these big events, sometimes you have to pay out more than what you actually get in back. But, you know, we still continue because we see, you know, the need is there.
and it's thus really a very costly venture.
It is costly.
It is costly, but costs are contrived. I mean, costs can be managed by the political process, right?
Yes.
And that's where government have a role to play in keeping the costs down. And government has the power, the traction power to swing an economy one way or the other. You know, so costs are a man-made function of supply and demand, right?
Yes.
Weber, for me, I'm looking forward to have a dialysis machine here, and the reason why is like my son or nephew who had got sick when he was 9 years old, going to school in the primary school. He got sick, and he was my mom took him to Dr. Diaz at that time, who was the only doctor of Highland. And Dr. Diaz did a very good job with him because at the time he was the only doctor in Nevis at the time, and he told my mom that he would be okay. He get medication and he was okay, went back to school. And then luckily he migrated to St. Thomas that he get a green card, otherwise he wouldn't have been alive. And he called me once and said, if I remember when he was sick and the kidneys come back to haunt him. I said, really? And then he told me he's going to start dialysis maybe in the next 2 weeks' time. And which he did. He was prepared. And then before time, when he used to come like for 2 weeks and stay, but then having the dialysis, he normally would just come for a day. Because, you know, it's like he have to go back and get that service done because we didn't have that service here. And it was so amazed that sometimes he can't even eat a banana, he can't even drink water because he would, you know, drown the lungs. And then I remember at one point he came like the Friday and he was to go back to St. Kitts and via Charlestown Pier, and for some reason the weather was bad and his life was risked to get a boat to go over to St. Kitts to catch his flight to go back to St. Thomas. So that's why I would like to see a machine in Nevis, because we don't know when the weather going to be bad, and if they don't have that service, you know definitely what's going to happen to them. And so I'm saying this to say that if he was still living here, he wouldn't have been alive. So I'm looking forward that we have that service done here in Nevis sometime soon.
But the technology said that people can have their dialysis machine at home. You know, that's how it is being done in the developed countries. And if it was done in a home here 30 years ago, why can't it be done again 30 years later with advance of technology and, you know, people are more educated and all that? Give us a break, please. I mean, we are belittling ourselves as a people.
30 years later, why you think it has not been done?
But don't go down that road, please.
But,
You get me irate.
but, well,
Okay.
all right. Now, well, we're standing by, so we're gonna to wrap up because we'll have to in a few minutes go to join the ZIZ National Broadcasting Corporation to bring you live coverage of the Team Unity Government Town Hall meeting, and this is from the Challenges Community Center in St. Kitts. So let's go over again, please, the activities that you are having and so on, so how people can help.
Actually, we're going to have our activities, which Sherilyn had announced, and we're going to have a walkathon coming up in May, the date to be announced, and we're going to have our gala dinner in May, and we're going to have our gala dinner in November, the date to be announced also.
Yes, Webo, we would like to thank the general public for their support over the years, the businesses and organizations for their continued support. And we are looking forward to their continued partnership. We are just a phone call away. I would like to publicly thank, well, I said Bridget already, for the use of the Girl Guides quarters, and I would also like to thank the members of the Nevis Renal Society. They have been a source of our strength. I appreciate you guys very much. You are hardworking, and we want to continue to work together for that common good and that common goal. And once again, Webo, we thank you for having us, and we're looking forward to come back at some other time when it's convenient.
And
thank you very
Webo,
much.
how can we forget you also? You're always there to give us our donation or contribution towards our events, so we thank you very much, Van Radio.
And finally, Doc.
Yeah, and we thank you for this platform able to get the word out there, and we're going to keep hammering it in, you know, hammering it in, right? Because persistency, drip, 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 drip can break a rock, right? So thanks for giving us that outlet to spread the word, and we want to appeal again to the entire Nevisian population that everyone can be affected. And if you know you have a family member, then be altruistic for your own good. Come and support the society. Come and contribute to the discussion, and let's accelerate the development of plans and projects to help our loved ones who become affected. It is a we can, not you do it, but all of us together working for the good of everyone, you know, because we never know who will come down next with this condition.
Oh, yes.
We would also like to thank the First Federal Credit Union. They have come on board with us, and they themselves want to partner with us in whichever way they can, and we just want to thank them. They have donated some trinkets for our educational session tomorrow, and we just want to place on record our sincere thanks.
Okay, well, thank you all very much, and you know, we always look forward to having you every year on this program and this radio station to assist in, as Doc said, get the word out, see how people can be persuaded to get involved and so on. And maybe, Doc, the National Health Insurance, maybe that, if we put that in the ballot, it might come around.
Sure. Whoever there's something called WeFM, right?
Yes.
WeFM, you know?
Yeah.
That means what's in it for me, right?
Yes.
So people need to tune into WeFM, you know?
Yes.
And realize to see that something is in it for them by supporting groups like the society, you know? The Cancer Awareness, the Renal Society, and so on, because anyone can be affected. And so once you realize that we are at risk, then we will do what we have to do for our own good, because we stand to benefit in the long run.
All right. We thank you very much, Dr. Glenville Lyburn, Florine Williams, Sherilyn Pemberton of the Nevis Renal Society. We thank them for joining us. We'll be standing by to bring you live coverage of the Team Unity Government Town Hall meeting from the Challengers Community Center on St. Kitts. This is your voice in the community, taught at Get Results. This program repeats tomorrow at 10 o'clock following the VON News Minute. Join the Honorable Mark Brantley tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock for On the Mark. Thank you all again very much. You all have a wonderful evening.
Doors. Builder's Paradise has cheap